Coming up, it's goodbye to the White House for Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel. Next, the Willis Watchdogs bark about his unusual going-away gift. One of Wall Street's most successful traders is predicting the end of the Federal Reserve. The author of the book, The Black Swan, says poor decisions will lead to the Fed's disappearance within 25 years. Usually in Washington, that means you get to keep the job. Time to let the Willis Watchdogs out. Mark Levine is a radio talk show host. I can say that in D.C. Larry Wingett is the pit bull of personal development in Phoenix. And Matt McCall is the president of Penn Financial. Matt, let's start with you. You believe that? Come on.
I don't believe this. Listen, The Black Swan was one of my favorite books. I read it on a plane when I was going to Europe. But he also sold quite a bit of books. And I think he wants to sell a lot more books coming out. And you have to make very bold predictions to do that. It reminds me similar of the guys that are bearish on the stock market that make the call for the Dow to go to 2,000. You know, eventually the stock market will go down. They're all over the national media. They sound like they know everything. Then they go away for a few years. I think we're in a similar situation where it's turned around. I don't see a black swan coming anytime soon. So he's trying to get back in the forefront of the media.
Yeah. I think it's PR. Do you agree, Larry?
Well, I think it's impossible for anybody to predict what's going to happen in 25 years, especially with the feds, because it's just too complex. And I don't think that he can make that kind of prediction accurately. I think what's significant, though, that I appreciate the most about the statement that I read that he made was the transformation of private debt to public debt being immoral and unethical. And I really think that's what has people so upset, is that we realize just how wrong that move is, and we're upset about it. And I hope that he drives that point home, how unethical that is.
But Mark, you like public debt, don't you?
I do. Look, there's no doubt the Federal Reserve under the Bush administration made a colossal blunder, allowing Wall Street to gamble with tens of trillions of dollars in credit default swaps, you know, an amount larger than the entire world economy. That will go down as one of the great economic errors in history, up there with Herbert Hoover balancing the budget in the Great Depression. But since that time, in the last 2 years, by taking on this debt, the Federal Reserve has stopped the free-falling economy. We're no longer bleeding. We've moved from critical care to maybe intensive care, but it's entirely due to that he saved the economy.
Mark, listen, what happened was you got out of critical care now, and you're still being watched very closely in a hospital, but they can turn on a dime. You could be back in the ICU before you know it. You can't keep taking on that debt. That is not going to work.
Okay. You want to respond, Mark? You good?
Well, I was going to say, look, it's all been very temporary, and that's as it should be. TARP is going to bring money to the federal taxpayer, as is, I think, the bailout of GM. So the Federal Reserve is unloading, but it has to wait really to the patient's a little bit better off before it unloads that debt.
I don't see anybody doing anything that's going to kill off the Federal Reserve soon. In fact, just the opposite. Let's move on, though. Playing off rumors of mafia connections, the senior White House staff presented outgoing Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel with an unusual going-away present, a dead fish. Mark, is this the right way to do things?
It's fine by me. Look, Rahm Emanuel is a tough guy. He can take a hit. He can give a hit. He definitely has a sense of humor. I like having a chief of staff that's strong. There's got to be somebody in the White House that can say no, that can get things done. I hope Pete Rouse is that kind of guy, his replacement. We'll see, but he doesn't have that strong personality. Trust me, Rahm Emanuel can take it.
I'm sure he can. What do you say, Larry? He can take it, but he's gone.
You know, I think there's a lot of symbolism that that's what it was all about. Between co-workers, it was an inside joke because it was an Asian carp that's supposed to be voracious and ferocious and bloodthirsty and all that. I still say a dead fish is a better gift than a live fish, because in a couple of days you end up flushing that down the toilet anyway. So maybe there's some symbolism there that we avoided with the live fish.
All right, Matt.
Well, listen, this guy's going to attempt to run Chicago, where they hand out dead fish on a daily basis. So I think it fits in real well. I think it's a joke as well between, co-workers, like Larry said. So it's all in good fun. But I'm actually happy they're giving the dead fish and getting him out of there right now, because I don't think he's doing the best of jobs.
I'd rather have cake and ice cream.
Better the head of a fish than a horse's head in your bed, right?
Yeah.
True.
All right, finally, Yahoo Autos highlighting the strangest, most over-the-top car features, things you didn't know you needed or even wanted until now. They include a top speed key to get you to go faster than 250 miles an hour, which you're not supposed to do because it's illegal. A gentleman function, no, not extra ventilation, but it gives backseat riders more room. And the all-important perfume dispenser. Larry, you going to use this stuff?
You know, I just want a car company that makes cars that aren't paid for by the government and owned by the taxpayers. You know, it's a lot simpler than that. When I heard there was a gentleman's function, though, I have to admit my mind went to a lot dirtier place than just more leg room.
I thought it was more air conditioning or more ventilation. That's just fellas, stinky fellas. I'm embarrassed now. Mark?
I thought the most useless of the functions was the one by BMW that measured how many times you had your top off on your convertible. Is there anything more useless? I guess the rich have so much money that they're looking for anything to buy, even completely useless things. Though I do think the perfume dispenser would be useful if you're taking home that dead fish.
Ah, blame the wealthy, Matt.
I love it. It's something to blow your money on. I mean, you got to spend your money somewhere. I think it's fantastic. I mean, there's got to be something out there that I like. I don't drive, but if I am driving, I'm trying to impress that girl. Little perfume dispenser for her. I mean, that goes a long way.
Matt, you're so thoughtful.
I know.
All right. Thanks, Matt, Larry, and Matt. Appreciate your time today. For a lot of older Americans getting laid off, they may feel like that job was their last. Next, we're going to have some advice for the over 50 crowd that wants to get back to work. Stay with Fox Business. The power to prosper.